What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hope Shot. I know you guys missed us, or at least I missed us. I don't know, one of those things. But it feels good to be back. If you guys just jumping on, say what's up. Let us know you're here. In the meantime, I'm gonna have Caesar read us the clarity statement.
Me?
Yes, you.
I'm so shocked that you picked me to read the clarity statement. The Hope Shot clarity statement. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common. Recovery is a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. And thank you for being a part of our Hope Shop family.
Thanks, Caesar.
My pleasure.
Appreciate you. I know you missed doing that last week,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah. Yeah, man. So it's been a great week, man. I was out at I was in Montana, went to Yellowstone, got held up by some buffalo or bison. It's not buffalo. I had to look it up. I was like, why did everybody call them buffalo when they're really bison? I was like, they didn't even have buffalo. There is no buffalo in North America, just to let you know. And I mean, a squash on your in your fairy tale, but there is no buffalo. It's all in like Asia and water buffalo. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. So the buffalo that they were roaming for back in the day in those Wild West tales were actually bison. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, little facts from Montana Justin.
Yes. I had to look it up, man. I was like, why do they call them buffalo, and why I keep like it's just bothering me because I want to call them buffalo and they're really bison, and actually the truth is it's always been bison. So they get they don't get street cred, it's about time they get it. So well, tonight, man, I hope everybody else had a great weekend, a great week. Tonight we're gonna be talking a little bit. You know what, Nate? Why don't you talk about the topic? Since you want to talk about it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I was watching this church service this morning online, and this pastor. It still sounds weird. I was watching this church service. It's still, when it rolls off my tongue, it's surreal. Just a little preface and a right frame of reference for those that don't know. Anything can happen. Your spirituality knows no limits once you really open your mind. And the fact that, I came in here prejudiced against religion and churches and all that stuff, and now I enjoy watching it on Sundays is a miracle in itself. It's anything is possible if you keep an open mind. Anyway, so yeah, I was watching church this morning, and this pastor was breaking down the Lord's Prayer, and something that we do at the end of every meeting. I've said it a million times, and it just opened up to me today in a different way. So, and one part he got to was with talking about forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us, and he put the word forgiveness up there, and like the root word, and it was to send away, dismiss, to let go from oneself, and that hit me a little hard because and he emphasized the importance of saying that forgiveness isn't necessarily forgetting. Forgiveness isn't necessarily making boundaries or redefining the way a relationship looks, or forgiveness is getting it off of us. It's letting it go from our presence. It's getting it off of us, and for me, that's powerful. That was for a guy like me who spent so many years just hurting others, right, and taking from others, especially my family. I was haunted. I was haunted at the things I did. I was haunted by the effect that I had on my family. I was haunted by the dreams that I let go of, that the environments that I ended up in. I was haunted by some of the memories of people I stole from, people I hurt, all these things, right, that ultimately ended up just perpetuating this endless cycle that I had, that I was, a slave to. And the only way that I could shut that down for just one brief fleeting moment was to put something in me, I was some substance, just so I could not feel that for a moment and just breathe a little bit. And I thought it was something I would carry for the rest of my life. And we were all talking on here before this, and Caesar said something like, "Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't really have too much to forgive of others when I came in here, but I had a whole shitload of forgiveness to get on myself, because yeah, my when I came in here, I was so broken and desperate and pathetic, and I had zero self-worth, zero self-esteem. The way I saw myself, which was, basically through the lens of what I thought you thought of me. I believed, you know, everything you guys said about me, or everything I think you said about me, which is, I'm a convict, a junkie, no good alcoholic, a thief, a liar, scumbag, loser. Well, all these things that I attached to my reality, and really defined not only how I saw myself, but how I presented myself into the world, because I was afraid to, go out. I was afraid to run into people. I was afraid of everything. I was afraid to try anything new. I was afraid to take a chance, on myself. I was afraid to recover, because I didn't think I was worth it. I didn't think I deserved another chance. I really bought into the idea that I was a lost cause, and that I was unforgivable. And so I come to this thing completely broken, like I said, and just, desperate to not feel the way I felt for so many years. And, I'm offered this wonderful solution, right? Through this step process that I was introduced through, and decide to, give myself a little grace, give myself a break, and, just give it a try. Try something different, because I was out of ideas, out of options, and had no more plans or schemes or anything left to throw at this thing except help, and whatever help you had to offer me, I was willing to try. And as a result of complete surrender, of just entertaining the idea that there was some power that wanted something to do with me, not really as from my own revelation or my own personal realization or decision, but it was more of that I saw this power working in somebody else's life that was just like me, and that wasn't anymore, and had something that I, was very curious about, if his life could be transformed, and if he could appear happy, joyous, and free, that, and just maybe, I could too. And that was like my first kind of, a little bit of sliver of willingness to lean into whatever this power might be. And as the years go, and then as I went through the process, my first year, and I got introduced to this fellowship. I got introduced to this power. I got introduced to a different way of life. Slowly but surely, I started to really let go, start giving myself a break, and letting go of all these things that I carried, and how much I put myself through. And then another thing I discovered is, I did have to forgive others, and whether it was misguided or not, I did have resentments. I did blame, and the moment I started really taking an honest look at how, like, all these ideas and, principles, because I did have resentment towards the system, and some things that happened to me in prison. I had a bit of a resentment towards DCF, and how it played out, with me losing my daughters, and I had resentment towards, the individuals that were involved in that, chain of events beginning. And slowly but surely going through this process and looking at my part, I understood, then more than ever, is that there was nobody to blame but myself. I was the only person to blame. I had put myself in these positions again and again and again. And I had no one left to blame. And for once in my life, I took responsibility and became accountable for my own actions and made you know, a decision to make it right and to stop living the way I was, to let go of selfish and self-centeredness, to let go of blame and stop trying to, uh, define who I am through another person's vision or another person's perspective. I started to discover who I was, uncover who I was. And, and yeah, I mean, the greatest freedom I ever experienced is when I could look back on all these past things that I experienced, tragic, sad, heartbreaking, horrible things that occurred, um, and start to forgive myself for, being that person, and to start to find purpose in all of these things instead of an excuse to keep being how I was. Because that at the end of the day, that's all it really was. I use these things, all of these, mistakes I made, all this guilt and shame I carried because of it, as just an excuse to continue living how I was living and to not, really face it and to take responsibility for it, because it was too fucking hard to look at that person. And the moment I did honestly do an assessment and an inventory about who that person was, it was clearly evident that, yeah, my main problem was me. And that, and that the underlying things, proved to me that, the alcohol and the drugs were the least of my problems. I had a spiritual malady. I have a thinking problem. I might have this peculiar mental twist that will convince me that, I am no good, that I am less than, and that I am not worthy of anything, worthwhile, love, family, brotherhood, friendship, career, stuff like that. I bought into the illusion. I bought into the illusion that kept me sick for 20 plus years. And as soon as I exposed that thing and gave, the past, started looking at it from a different perspective, not something that happened to me, but something that happened for me, everything shifted. My entire life started to transform, and I could take what was my greatest liability and turn it into an asset, and start using that experience to reach others. And only in that process, I was reading this meditation book over the weekend, and it said, to realize something, right, is not to know it, right? To realize something is to bring into my reality through action, right? And in realizing something, I was bringing into my reality through action, forgiveness of myself and others, but I couldn't pray it away. I couldn't believe it away. I couldn't hope it away. I had to take action. I had to get busy and do the work. I had to have the uncomfortable conversations. I had to take the honest look at myself. I had to go sit in front of somebody and make amends. I had to face, all of these things, the wreckage of my past. And through that process, I've gained, the most beautiful freedom I've ever experienced. I didn't, no longer did I have to hide. No longer did I have to, put on a mask. No longer did I have to be ashamed of what I did or who I was. And for that, only in that, and this is, I tell you, to this day, I'm still forgiving, parts of my past. I'm still, discovering, what it means to truly feel worthy, to be who I am and to not and be proud of who I am. I still struggle with compliments. I still struggle with, thinking that, the other shoe isn't about to drop. I was having a conversation with a friend this week, and we were discussing like, this subconscious resistance to grow up and grow out, whether it be in my business, whether it be, in my relationships, whether it be, with things that I know that I have to do that are, um, you know, big or overwhelming. And I have a tendency to shut down. And I was telling them that I had this subconscious belief, that, at any moment, this is, I'm going to, do something, go back to praise. My brain is so hardwired to believe that, that I can still be that person. And and it's just a fear, right? We're driven by 100 forms of fear, and this thing manifests in the craziest of ways. And it has all different types of disguises. But anyway, the only thing that has ever healed that for me is, is this work, conscious contact and an intimate relationship with my higher power and action. The more I, get up and do the next right thing for the right reason, and, get out of self and turn my thoughts towards helping others, I forgive another little piece of me every day. And that's why it's so important to not rest on my laurels, to do the work on a daily basis, even when things are seemingly good. I need to really take responsibility for my recovery, because I still don't know what parts of me that need forgiveness. I don't know what thing is going to be uncovered, what memory is going to pique something I did, what person I can potentially run into. I ate a lot of Xanax, so I did a lot of stuff during the blackout. So, I need to be prepared to face these things, and I need to be armed with the facts of who I am, what my disease is, and how powerful it could really come, and how it manifests in all different types of ways in my life. And I believe it's a lifelong journey. And I don't think that's a sentence. I think that's a gift, because where else, in what other arena do we get to be around this beautiful journey and path of healing and just figuring out who I am, and being around people that are curious about who I am and curious about who they are, and challenging me to continue to grow, challenging me to be, a better person every day, a better human being, a better friend, a better employee, whatever that looks like. This all comes through forgiveness, letting go of that which causes me stress, because guess what? I know that this power that is in my life loves me and forgives me. So I need to forgive myself, and absolutely need to forgive others, and it's true freedom. We cease fighting anything or anyone. And that, for me, I always tried to, wrest satisfaction and control how everything turned out and how it was going to be. And if you didn't like me, damn you. And it was a reflection of who I am. And it's fucking taxing. Who cares? Right? I have this power. I have this fellowship. I have this beautiful life that proves to me and shows to me that I am a good person today, that I am forgivable, and that I am worthy of love and respect and friendship and all these beautiful things that were so foreign to me, that I just treasure today and don't take for granted for one moment. But until I could start forgiving myself for who I was, I didn't have space to entertain these things. So what am I doing on a daily basis to create a space that I can grow into? For me, it's the work. It's this relationship with God. It's my relationship in my fellowship, and how busy I am doing this work on a daily basis. It's a direct reflection of how I see myself and how I think you see me, which sometimes is way more important for a guy like me than how I see myself, which is sick in itself. And that's why I need to keep doing this work. Great topic. It really hit me hard. I really want to hear what you guys have to say about it. I love y'all. I'm glad we're back.
I'm glad we're back too. Back, baby. Yeah, man, I really love that. It's funny. It's like the book that I was reading, and it talked about the whole thing. It's like, we think we have complete control of certain situations, but no matter what, man, life is still going to keep going. And then why are we making it such a big deal we're sitting here floating on this rock in the middle of nowhere and worried about what somebody thinks about me or what, or what this person did, instead of thinking of like, what is this trying to teach me? And I think that's the biggest thing is we can look at it through different lenses. That's when we start seeing things differently. In the blame game, I used to blame everybody. You talked about the blame game. I used to blame everybody in my life for the way I was until the recovery gave me a different set of lenses that I was able to truly see of like what was really the culprit in all of my doings, right? What was the culprit? And it was always me. It started and ended with me, just like everything else and every interaction I have throughout this whole space. It starts and ends with me, and I am completely responsible for myself, and that is it. And that goes for the forgiveness of other people and my attitude towards other people and the things that have happened along the way. No matter what, it's happened. What are we gonna do from here on out? Because I sat in shit for a long time from things that happened in before. Like in my addiction, I sat there in the nonstop scenarios and playing the tape over and over of the exact situation that happened, and that was keeping me sick for the longest time. So what are we doing here? It's like I have to forgive people, or I have to learn how to, for one thing, forgive myself for taking so long to try to get this recovery deal, right? And then also forgive other people for they didn't know, they just like like my parents. The reason that I fucking blamed them for the way I was is that's the reason I was the way I was, is because it's their fault. They did this, but they were learning too. There's no instruction manual for this whole deal. There's no instruction manual for recovery either. You know what I mean? So like in a lot of people, man, when they relapse, man, they can't forgive themselves. Why not? It's all we have, man, is chances and opportunities, man. And like, we all need second chances. That's what we thrive on. We fight for it, at the Hope Shot, man. That's what we do. We fight for second chances because we need to forgive people more. Who the hell am I? Why am I going to pass judgment on the people when I don't want to be judged myself? And it's a learning process. But yeah, man, it's a great topic. I really, really, really love this topic. I just wanted to say that one thing, but let me say what's up with some people real quick. We got Rachel. Happy Sunday to you, Rachel. We got Shannon. Good to see you. We got Tanya. Hello. Happy Sober Sunday. Been celebrating my son's 13th birthday this weekend. Well, happy birthday to him. Thanks for being here. We got Jerry. What's up, Jerry? Love you too, man. And we have Lloyd says, I hear you loud and clear, Nathan. Finding me and realizing my purpose in life. There's no greater feeling. I remember the day that I could finally look into a mirror and recognize the man I'm looking at. Me. That's good stuff. We got Anna says, I'm struggling so badly tonight. I hope God can help me. My life feels way too difficult to handle right now. I can totally relate to that at times. Even on vacation, I was, just in here like this, and it just seems like there's a lot going on all the time, and it just seems like it never can be put down even for the second. But I'm praying for you, man. I know you can get through this. You just got to keep pushing forward. That's what it is, man. And then on the other side, there's always relief, always relief. Let's see. We got say what's up to Helen. What's up, Helen? Don't give up. Keep God close. Get on your knees and ask him to relieve you of whatever it is. You can do this. Remember, feelings are temporary. This will pass. Amen. Exactly. Let's see. I got Tanya's also said, I've been doing a Bible study on forgiveness. It's super painful to dig deep into it. Yes, it is. Welcome back, Justin. Great vacation pics. Nathan is like a never-ending wealth of knowledge and grace. Yes, he is. Yeah. That vacation was epic. I'll tell you that. We got Lynn. Good to see you, Lynn. Great topic. Love y'all. And that's it, man. So neat. Caesar, what you got on forgiveness?
Yeah.
What I got on it?
What you got on
forgiveness, bro?
Is it you got 5 on it?
Is it?
Allow
Allow it.
Thank
So,
you.
I mean, before I came into this deal, here, I'll paint a picture. So, like the first time you get a consequence, you get arrested, because of addiction. In my mind, I'm like, yeah, that might be somebody else's fault. Wrong place, wrong time, maybe. And like, fourth or fifth time, like, I'm clearly partially to blame for this lifestyle, but these cops are picking on me. And, again, clearly, I'm only partially to blame for this. You go as long and as deep as I did and ride this thing till the wheels fall off, and incarceration after incarceration, and all the people that you come into, or I came into contact with, all my friends had separated themselves from me, didn't want anything to do with me. And I was alone, like just utterly alone. And at that point, I accepted the fact that I'm just a piece of crap, like this is what I am. Everything I touch turns to shit. And this is what my life's going to look like until I either die of an overdose or they lock me away long enough that nobody ever sees me again. And that's a lot of baggage to carry into this recovery deal. You come into this thing, and I meet with this sponsor, and we're starting to dig into this book. And I start to be able to see myself on the pages of this book. And I'm like, oh, well, I've got it. All right. I'll admit I've got what we're talking about in these pages. We get a little bit further in, and I was writing my fourth step out. And I was having a lot of trouble in the resentments part, because I didn't have a lot of resentments towards other people, because I blamed myself for every single thing that had happened in my life. I could see, like, we did the show about, like, who done it or whatever, like, surprise, it's me. Like, it wasn't a shock to me that I was the problem. I knew I was the problem. I had accepted that I was the problem, that I was broken and just screwed up and not useful to anybody. So I had to work through that and work through a lot of conversations about resentments and things. And, we dug up some legitimate resentments, but my biggest resentment was against myself for squandered opportunities, like every chance in the world. Nathan, I've heard you say, like this great supportive family that just wanted me to do well. Looking from the outside, like good at sports, popular, like all these things. But inside, it was like a square peg trying to go into a round hole. I felt like I was faking it. I was restless, irritable, and discontent from a very young age. And once I figured out drugs and alcohol quiet all that down, I ran with it, and I never wanted to let it go. So all the opportunities, the loving family, the money, the bars, the things that I had just this great life handed to me, everything I needed to succeed, great education, private schools, all of this stuff. And I'm the guy that's known by a first name in booking and in the pods. And like what? Clearly, it's not for opportunity. I can't blame my family. I can't blame money. I can't blame circumstance. And I came to all this conclusion on my own. Nobody helped me with this. I'm like, I'm just a piece of crap. That's what I am. So we're going through all this stuff, and I do my fifth step with the guy, 6, 7. I hadn't really forgiven myself of anything. I was willing to do anything to get a different result. I was putting in all the work by all outward appearances, but I never really worked on forgiving myself at all. I was just like, You know, it is what it is. And even if this works and I get sober, you know, I'm never gonna be where I once was. You know, I outward appearances, I was successful. I had money. I had businesses. In my mind, I've squandered it. It's gone. No chance at material success. Definitely no chance at much else. And then I started doing 8 and 9. And when I started going out and making amends and facing the people that I wronged and that I put these wrongs down on paper, first thing I found out is a lot of the crap that I remember very wrong. Like my brain is not right. So, and I don't mean that this didn't happen with every single one, but a lot of people are like, dude, what do you mean? Like you were always such a good dude. And I'm like, what? What do you mean I was a good dude? No, I wasn't. You know, like, so my brain hyper focuses on these highlights of the shit that I did that was wrong. And it completely glances over any good that I did in my life. Can't draw it to the front of my mind. Can't tell you when it happened. But these people, one after another, people I went to school with, start telling me stories about shit I don't even remember. I'm like, really? I did that? Like, it's crazy. And their perception of me is not what I thought. And that started moving me in the right direction. Facing my past, person by person, my family, realizing that I was forgivable. It was only by other people's responses to me, actions and things that as I changed, the reactions that I got in life allowed me to let go of that a little bit at a time and a little bit more at a time. And it didn't happen overnight. It wasn't like, hey, I worked all 12 steps and I'm fantastic now. Like, I love myself. That's just not the case. It took me years to get comfortable with the person. Sorry, to get comfortable as the person that I am now. And I've shared it before. Like, how do you get good self-esteem? You do esteemable acts. So by being unselfish each and every day and trying to do something for somebody else and not thinking so much about myself, that process transformed me to where I don't look at myself as what I used to see. I see the new creation. I see the recovery Caesar when I look in the mirror. I see the guy that's worthy, that's a hard worker, that can succeed, that can do hard things, you know, that can be a good dad, can be a friend. I see that today, but that's only through work, you know, and the forgiveness side of others. I had no problem forgiving others. I understand. And I kind of always understood that it's pretty messed up of me to want everybody to forgive me. But I'm like, but you guys suck. You know, I'm never going to forgive you. Like, I got to put it out there. You know, I don't want to have baggage. After working those steps, I unloaded a ton of baggage, guilt, shame, remorse. I didn't want to carry, you know, like, I lightened my load. So like, I don't want to carry even a little sack. So a little sack of the people that I didn't forgive, I don't want to carry that. So I let go of all that. That stuff was easy for me. The process for me was always, I'm not good enough. I blew it. In working. And if you ask my wife, like, I work like a madman because I work as if I have something to prove, even at 10 years in. You know, like, the way I carry myself, the way that I work, the way that I work out, the things that I do, I still carry that somewhere inside of me where I'm like trying to prove that I'm worthy of something. And it's something that I'm always going to be working on. But today, I do see it. I do see that I'm a good person. I do see that I'm worthy. And that's only from working this deal and staying right in the middle of this thing. So it kind of doesn't matter what you're going through or what your self-image is. If you get outside of yourself and try to help somebody else, it will change. And I mean, it's just, I've seen it too many times to say that, oh, well, it won't work for everybody. No, it will. Like, if you stop doing shady shit and you start being a good person and stop thinking about yourself so much and start thinking about other people and how your reactions and actions send a ripple effect around you, when I started seeing that and I realized that I can send good ripples out and affect the people around me in a good way, as opposed to the ripples of shit that I was sending out. Wow, that's freaking profound. Like I can create change in my immediate surroundings just by my attitude, just by making sure that I tell somebody, hey man, you look good today. Hey man, is that a new cologne? Man, you're on point. I gas everybody up. If I come in contact with you during the day, I give you a compliment. I make you laugh, whatever it is, because life's hard enough, man. Like, let's try to make each other laugh, crack a smile, make somebody feel good about themselves. You see somebody staring at their shoelaces and they're always down, and you work with them on a regular basis, make them lift their head up and smile by giving them a compliment. And doing that stuff over, I feel real good about me because I'm out there gassing everybody else up. So, I mean, like, forgiveness is a crazy thing to me. Like, I don't think that there's any way, shape, or form, if you lived anything like the way I lived, that it's any overnight process, even a month process or a year process. I think the process comes from just continual steps forward in the right direction. And one day you'll look up and you won't recognize the person in the mirror. You'll like that person, as opposed to what I used to see in that mirror. And that was, I wish that person would die. So that's all I got.
I like that, Caesar. And, I see a lot of people putting in freedom, because that's exactly what it is, man. It's true freedom when you learn how to forgive, and not carry those resentments, man, because those resentments, man, that's what keeps us sick, but thanks, Caesar. It's let's see, we got Connie. That's where she puts the freedom in there. She had I had struggled for so long forgiving myself for hurting my family and others. Then I realized, how can they forgive me without the self-forgiveness? I let go of all my resentment towards others and try not to pick up any new ones. That's it right there. This is freedom. That's it, man. Not pick up any more trash, right? Yeah. See, we have Kelly says, it used to be very hard for me to forgive myself when others couldn't, but today I know I'm worthy. That's right. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's another thing that I bet that you can relate to, is the perfectionist thing.
Oh yeah.
If I make a mistake, if I forget something, the people around me aren't hard on me for it. They're like, that's normal, bro. Like, you just forgot to put it on your calendar. I'm like, oh God,
it's the end of the world.
I will beat myself up for like days. And I'm like, yeah, and that's another form of forgiveness that I need to practice. Is I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna be perfect. Like, that is unrealistic. I'm going to make mistakes, and I need to move on from them a lot faster than I have.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate to the perfectionism.
That's why I said it to you.
Yeah, everything has to be perfect, man. And I don't give myself any breaks, none, especially not people around me. But learning to be gentle, be gentle with yourself, and not think this is the end of the world if something messes up or something doesn't go exactly as expected. Because expectations, that's where the resentments come from, unrealistic expectations of other people and myself, man, putting these big things on myself, just like being busy, putting so much on my plate because I think I can handle it. But then one thing doesn't go exactly as planned, and then I'm just lost. I'm lost in the sauce. And getting back on track, man, because something didn't go exactly as we planned, or I'm messing up, and next thing you know, everything else is tumbling. You know what I mean? It's like the domino effect. And it's like in my head, it's all tumbling and nothing else really is tumbling, and it was cool because I was reading this book. Like, I had time because I was flying, right? It's The Untethered Soul. Like, I'm like 15 pages away from finishing it. But they was talking about this house that we build. Imagine building this house, and like, and you build it, and it's like you build it with your bare hands, and then like, and it's like this perfect little house, and then like, something like everything on the outside is like starting to like really annoy you, and it's like the expectations are just, and you start like putting up these shutters, and blocking all these things out because you didn't like how it was going. And so it's talking about this house that you're building, and it's literally inside of you, and it's full of the expectations and the resentments and all the fears of the future. So it's all these things, and you're sitting here and you're shutting yourself off from this light that you could be experiencing. And it was just cool because it's exactly like what we all go through with, the past experiences that we went through, and we have all these walls up, and then you have the future shit that's on top, that like, it's like maybe this little house inside of you, and like, you're not letting anything just go through it, like not letting anything pass through. And it's like these things that happen daily that we have no control over, like Nathan, you were talking about the weather, or Caesar was talking about the weather, or something like that. The weather, the people, places, and things that we encounter, and we're not letting just things happen. And it just depends on what's inside of us that's making us react to these certain things, right? And we got to find out what that is. And as we go through this recovery process, you figure it out. What exactly, why am I so bothered by this one thing, right? Why do I get so hung up on this one person, or this one place, or this one thing, or what is going on inside of me that I get so hung up on it, or I let it fester, and it's just signs, man, of what we need to work on. I know that I've had plenty of them this past year, plenty. And just letting things happen the way they are, and not letting me try to control every situation, every outcome, every person that ever comes in my life. Because when I do that, then I start shutting people out. And that's exactly like they were talking about that house, you put shutters up. I mean, start shutting people out because I judge and I don't want them around because they bother me, And it's like, why do they bother me? What's going on inside of me? Because it's just me. It's a reflection of me, no matter what, it's a reflection of me, of what's going on inside of me, that's making me shut all these things out in my life, and until I'm alone, until I'm isolated, and I have nothing left, and then what, then I'm back into the same old freaking life that I was, and who knows, so I really like focus on that part of my life, and finding out, it's the uncovery, it's discovery, it's finding out why I'm so bothered by certain people or certain things. And most of the time it's because they match. It's like, you spot it, you got it. It's exactly what it is. You spot it, you got it. And I'm like, oh God, when somebody told me that one time, I was like, God damn, they do. Damn. Self-righteousness. When somebody told me that, I was like, ooh, man, dude, I got that. But yeah, man. And it's just one of those things, man. We got to let things happen the way it is, and just be, and just let go, just be with it, Let me read some of these comments real quick. We have Anna says, I respect people in recovery who actually continue to admit their mistakes in sobriety and still practice making amends too. It's something I have to make a habit for life. If we aren't making amends regularly, then we aren't really sober. It's only a matter of time until we pick up. Mm-hmm. We got Missy says, in active addiction, I started to believe I didn't deserve to get clean because I couldn't forgive myself. Right before I got picked up, things got so bad I felt suicidal every day and didn't think I would make it out. After that, I felt I had paid my dues and let it all go. I have peace in my heart and a strong connection to God today, and I'm so grateful. It makes me tear up all the time. And Helen says, I remember when my sponsor made me put I am worthy on my mirror. I wasn't allowed to take it down until she believed what I believed it, till she believed that I believed it. It was there for a long time. It took that time to love myself. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a while, man. And we have to keep reminding ourselves, man, those little reminders is very important, And I remember I put a bunch of words on my mirror because we look at the mirror all the time, especially in the morning. It's the first thing we look at when we're brushing our teeth, and you got these positive sayings that we can carry with us throughout the day. And I had it for a little bit, and I put it in my daughter's bathroom, put it in our bathroom, it's just positive things that we could tell ourselves to break that cycle of those negative thoughts that come in, and So like we can't control what comes in, it's if we want to sit there and camp on it, But what you guys got anything else?
I like your self-righteous thing when somebody called you out on that. So I mentally called myself out the other day. That this guy that I know is perpetually struggling would be the best way that I put it. Like just always, forever been struggling. And like I caught myself thinking, man, like why can't he just get it together? And like I caught myself thinking that way, and I was like, bro, why couldn't you get it together? Like who the hell am I thinking like that? But I caught it because I'm like, man, that's a stupid inner monologue. Like for a guy like me, really, I'm questioning why somebody can't get it. But that's like that self-righteousness. Like it's so easy. I figured it out. Anybody can do it. No, it's not. It takes everybody's path looks different. Everybody's that jumping off point is in a different spot. Somebody jumps off this train early. Some of us ride it until it's going off the cliff, and some of us are still in the damn caboose when the front is hitting the ground, like it is what it is. And that I'm grateful that I can spot that dumb shit in my mind today, because like the fact that I thought that way for a second, I was like, oof, man, that's not good. That is not the way to talk about a fellow person that is struggling with the same shit that I struggled with.
But I think also, Caesar, like you just piqued the thought, because Justin and I were talking about this because like, I mean, we come in contact with a bunch of newcomers on a daily basis, people that are trying to get it like just fresh in recovery, have no idea what it looks like, what it's going to be like. And I can find myself the same thing, getting frustrated, like, man, why can't, here's everything here, rolling it out. Here's a place to stay. Here's a sponsor. Here's a fellowship. Here's a job. Here's it all. And then they don't get it. And I'm like, wait a minute, that was me, but I need to forgive myself, because, I think what it is too, is that we know for guys like us that were where we were at, and to have this spiritual experience, and to have this recovery and this gift in our life, we know there's a solution, and we just want them to have it so badly, man. We just want them to have it so badly, and I got to be careful, because it's not up to me when they have it. It's not up to me. It is up to someone much bigger than me when someone grabs onto this deal. It took me 2+ decades to really get it. And when I catch myself though saying like, man, I can't believe this. What do you mean you can't believe this guy? I went to like 15 treatment centers, 5 prisons, like, come on now.
That's literally it, because like both sides of my brain went off at the same time. Like the one side was like, Jesus, man, how many times is it going to take for this guy? I can't believe. And then the other side went, bro, that's you. What are you talking about? You got into recovery at almost 38. And I think I went to my first court-ordered meeting when I was 17. Like, imagine how many people thought that about me. Like,
oh yeah,
this guy's a disaster. He's never going to get it.
And it's so quick to forget. It's so easy to forget. Like, motherfucker, weren't you like the White Key Wonder? What?
Yes.
What are we talking about? Calm your ass down. It's like, because you just want to shake them. Like, come on, man. I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to shake me, probably around my neck. Who knows?
The first time I got 90 days, that it wasn't like 90 days locked up or 90 days in treatment. Like, I thought somebody should throw me a parade. Like, I was like, man, you see this? Like, I'm doing it. Like, and believe me, I think that was in 2000. No. Yeah, that was in 2007. I got sober in 2014. So, like, it's just, I can't forget where I came from. I can't forget what I was. And when I'm trying to be of service, I'm trying to help somebody, I got to leave that whole, attitude of, well, I got to figure it out, man. Like I'm laying it out here for you. So why isn't it working for you? Because it might not be his time.
Right.
They might not be interested in this stuff right now.
Yeah. We could bring that right back to forgiveness. This is a really cool experience that I've been having lately, is that, not only I need to forgive somebody their journey. You know what I mean? Like when I'm frustrated with somebody, because we deal with difficult people on a daily basis, right? If I can see through the lens of their journey, what they've potentially been through, what trauma they've experienced, who have let them down, what, children they may have lost, whatever their journey might be, I have to forgive their journey. Right. And if I can do that, like I see them just as I saw myself new in recovery, just desperate, and for another chance, and scared, and when I can see others through that lens, it just allows me to lead with compassion rather than judgment, and not put some desired outcome on where they should end up, and just show up with more grace and unconditional love and compassion, because we might have a solution. It might have transformed our lives, but like Caesar said, man, my parents have been putting me in treatment centers since I was 16 years old, since the first time I overdosed, and it took me 22 more years to get it. And so it's my responsibility as a person in recovery, as a person that has this relationship with God, to be an example of the same grace and unconditional love and forgiveness that my power has shown me. I need to afford that to others, with no hesitation, because that's what keeps people coming back. Even if they might not make it, they feel that kindness, they feel that non-judgment, they feel that love. And that I know that planted a seed for me long before it took root, I promise. But it always kept the light on, it was like a beacon. I knew there was hope somewhere, it got buried, and all the darkness got in the way of that light. But I always knew it was there. And I think it just kept me, from not completely giving up, and to keep putting my next foot forward, whether it was my parents' unconditional love, whether it was some few friends, whether it was therapists or judges, really saying, "Hey, Nate, do you want help?" I knew it was there. I might not have been ready for it. I might have resisted it, but I always knew it was there. So it's my responsibility as a person that now has had this spiritual experience to make sure that no matter who I deal with on a daily basis, I forgive their journey, and understand that they came, they have a story that's dying to be told, and it's not up to me to tell that story. It's up to me to offer a space where they feel not judged and welcome always, and it's a cool thing to be a part of, though.
Yeah, it's it's like we're just trying to wake them up, it's all we're trying to do. It might take multiple times to wake them up, but we keep trying. It's the awakening of knowing you have a fucking problem in the first place, because I know that for the longest time I never thoroughly thought I had a problem, but it took a while to figure out, man, that I was the problem,
Yeah.
But yeah, let me see. I got a few more comments. Let's see. We got Anna says, I don't know how to forgive people who aren't humble and who aren't really sorry. People who burn you and then don't even try to make amends. People who say, ain't it grand the wind stopped blowing? Nah, bro. Every person I make amends to, I swallow my pride and humble myself. It doesn't feel good, but I do it. And I will say this, that the forgiveness has nothing to do with them. It's all about us. Yeah. Everything, every amends, every little detail of, because listen, again, it starts and ends with me. I'm the one that's I'm making the amends to clear my set. And I think somebody said it up here too, that we're clearing our side of the street, and that's all we can do. The rest is out of my control. Just like Nate said, with helping these people, we're helping them. How the outcome happens is none of my business, but we're the ones that are benefiting from the forgiveness, not anybody else.
Yeah.
Hey, and I'll add this. If I'm placing an expectation on forgiveness, I am 100% setting myself up for a big fat resentment. That's me. But everything that I seem to place an expectation on, if I put it on there, whether it's a silent expectation or a voiced expectation, I usually get let down, and then I get upset, and then I get mad, and then I'm hurt, and like, oh, look what happened again. I tried to be forgiving, but they didn't accept my forgiveness the way I wanted them to. Like I stick with that my side of the street stuff. You don't have to be a good person. You don't have to accept anything. You don't have to change your behavior. I'm saying I forgive you so I can move on with my life. I'm letting it go. Peace out.
Yeah. And
peace out.
Yeah. And I like a good example of relating to that comment is, I was in treatment, right? I was paying child support. I every fiber of my being dying to be a father. I'm freshly sober. I'm really having this spiritual experience. I can't wait to get out of this treatment center and be a father to this beautiful girl that got taken from me because my dumb ass couldn't fucking stop getting loaded, right? And some things occurred, unbeknownst to me. There was proceedings that were taking place. The mail was getting sent to another address that I no longer lived at. And all of a sudden, the assistant to the business I was working with comes in and says, hey, you don't need to pay child support anymore. I'm like, why the fuck not? She's like, I don't know. So I called the child support office and they're like, yeah, she got adopted. I'm like, what? Well, she got adopted? What do you mean she got adopted? And by the time I got home and by the time I got to the bottom of it, I discovered that there was a court hearing. I never knew that was going on. And now my daughter was adopted and I was unable to even see her and still can't see her to this day. Talking about forgiving someone and that ain't, that's not really sorry. They don't even know that I have this resentment. They don't even know like the impact that this has on my life and continues to have on my life if I allow it to. Because guess what? How free do I want to be? Do I really want to carry this resentment and not forgive this institution that has no idea who I am? It wasn't personal. They really didn't try to harm me. You know what I mean? But it had this huge impact and could really transform the trajectory of my entire life and that girl's life as well. Or do I choose to just let it go? And is it simple? Fuck no, man. This shit kills me. It pops up all the time. I was watching a movie today. There's a little girl on there. I'm like, oh my God, looks just like my daughter. And it fucking makes me want to cry and it hurts, but how free do I want to be? Do I carry this stuff? Do I continue to be a victim? I just choose not to be today. So what do? I create a space for the opportunity for her to come back in my life, can live, breathe, and grow in, and that can't happen in a place of resentment or anger or, it has nothing to do with the other person being humble or sorry or nothing. It has everything to do with how I let it affect my life and how I let it affect, and then in turn I affect others. My God wants me to be at peace and to be free. That way I'm building this beautiful space, on a daily basis to have the blessing of maybe her coming back into my life. What I want to create the safest spot for that. I don't want it to be filled with, resentment or unforgiveness or anything, hateful or negative,
Yeah, because that gets us nowhere. Well, I think that's it for tonight, guys. Man, it's been a great topic. Thank you, Nate, for bringing that. Maybe it's something to look at this week. What can you forgive in your life that's causing you pain? And have no worries about the outcome of it if you choose to do the amends process, right? So thank you guys for being here tonight. We'll see you next Sunday, right here live. And hold on, I just gotta click some things off. There we go. All right, wait. There we go. Fireworks. See ya.